So this is the Elite Helix 65D wheel, and we're going to have a quick look at it before I take it for a ride up to Regent's Park for some laps tomorrow morning. Guys, welcome back to The What Life. Let's roll. Okay, so the reason I thought I'd have a quick chat about these is two things. Firstly, it's a wavy wheel that you haven't seen, or I haven't seen too many brands out of the East making, so I thought it'd be an interesting chance, or a good chance, to chat about a wheel that has this like wavy pattern to it. This has steel spokes, and I'll give you some stats on the wheel in a second. So the reason I like the Elite wheel, guys, is because their hub system, they've kind of got it dialed down. They've actually just brought out a new hub system which has got a complete redesign to the way that their hubs work. But for me, the reason I like this is because it's slightly weather sealed, so it has this little thing on here which tries to protect it from a bit more dirt and grime. And these are the wheels that I've been running, or was running, over the winter. So I've given these at least 1,500 kilometers of riding, and I've taken them racing. But the Elite guys have really put effort into designing some good hub systems using a star ratchet system. They have a new hub system that's come out, which means that these wheels are actually going to be discounted, and I'll put some information down below if you guys are interested. I think it might be an affiliate code. I'll have to check with the guys, I'm not sure. But anyway, they're discounted. Let me give you some more stats on these wheels. And yeah, pretty simple, nice clean hub system with a good sounding ratchet. So let me give you some stats on these. They are 21mm internal, so in the grand scheme of wheels that are coming out of the East, that is perhaps a little bit narrower. Elite have just produced their Drive 2, which has the new hub system on it, that has 23mm internals. I think in part that's probably why these wheels are going to be discounted over the next few weeks. These ones have steel spokes. You can get them with carbon spokes, but I've enjoyed the ones that have the Sapium steel spokes. The reason I like that is a little bit more forgiving than the carbon spokes. 21 spokes in the front, 24 in the rear. And talking of that, it's a staggered rim depth. So the depth of the front wheel, obviously the depth of the wheel varies because you get that wavy pattern, but the front wheel is slightly shallower than the rear being that 68, which is what the product is named after. And other than that, they are 1,490 grams, which is about the same weight as the Campag Shimals that I have on the Villia. I'm going to whack these on the bike. I actually took these wheels out to Calpe at the start of the year. I think it was like February. I'm going to throw some of that footage in there now. So you don't get much better than wheel testing out in Calpe on perfect roads. And that's what I'm doing. So this is the only climb I'm going to be able to do today, but crosswinds 100%, sorry, didn't mean to be blasé about it, 100% feels nice and stable, more stable, maybe because of the aerodynamics, maybe because there's slightly less fairing sidewall. But down the coast, very breezy, windy evening, super stable, which is nice. I know that there is also, what feels like a little bit of a feel to riding these style wheels. Yeah, they feel ever so slightly different. These are 21mm internal. I'm running a 28 C tire on it. So yeah, my usual setup, but probably comes in a little bit narrower as I've recently been riding 23 internals. Let me get to the top, continue smashing this, and then hit you with some more stats. So in general, one of the reasons that you buy these wavy shaped rims is the feedback is they are better in crosswinds. Luckily it's super windy here today, so we are definitely going to find out. But so far, yeah, I guess that is the feedback, is there's a little bit more stability to them. The wheels that I normally run most of the time are the Lun Hypers, the D68s, I think they are, D67s, which are quite deep, 67 mil, and obviously built like a conventional wheel. Now, because these are wavy and they are also asymmetrical, so the front wheel's shallower than the back wheel, you know, the deep part of the wheel on this, I think 67, but then obviously because it's wavy, there's parts that are less than that. I need to figure this out, 1 second. So yeah, so because it's wavy, there are parts that are shallower than that in the wheel, which I think also contributes to it having a better side profile in crosswinds. But ultimately, I think the shape is also meant to create a better riding experience in crosswinds, just due to the aerodynamics of having that wavy shape to the rim itself. But you know, we're going to find out, because one thing I have noticed is the Lun Hypers are just a big deep wheel, lovely wheel, but yeah, they are obviously susceptible to crosswinds, and at times in the UK that doesn't always feel very fun. So if these have some more stability, they look good, and they have a star ratchet system that sounds good, and I confirm that they do sound great, then perhaps these are a little subtle nod in the right direction of a, and I understand the position I'm in, but a spare set of wheels to choose from. There's plenty I like about them. First of all, just the way they look on the black bike, I think that counts for a lot. As much as I want to tell people that I care about internal rim width, I just try and adhere to what I get told on the internet about rim widths. You know, if someone tells me to ride a 25 internal and everyone says it, then I'll probably do it. In much the same way that other people will do that, because they're told it's quicker, they're told it's faster, and it's better just to kind of cover your bases. 21 mil internal is what I've been riding for most of, well, all of last year. I've only recently moved to 23 on the Lun Hypers. So being back on 21s doesn't feel too different, doesn't feel like there's a problem with it. Just the 28 mil tires that I'm on don't sit quite as wide as if you were to have a 23 internal. And then what does that do for the handling on the descents? But a lot of that comes as the whole package of the bike and not just necessarily the wheel. I've got my descent to do back down into Calpe. It's 4:05. The roads out here are absolutely glorious. So if you get a chance to come ride out here, 100% take it, south of Spain, because the road quality, which is kind of what lets you feel just how these wheels ride, because sometimes, you know, you're in the UK and you try and do a bike test or a wheel test, you know, no shade on anyone, but if you live in the Cotswolds, I don't quite know how you do that, because those roads are so terrible. You know, how does the actual bike feel? Because you're always being inundated with sensations of just terrible road quality, whereas out here you get to feel what the bike is doing, how it moves, how it responds to things, rather than the bike reacting to holes in the ground and bumps and lumps. So you still get, you know, a little bit of unevenness, but I feel like it's a nice place to test this stuff because of that. no secret that I like Elite wheels as a brand for a couple of reasons. A, I do think they make good products. They've also just started sponsoring a World Pro team, so they are now entering the realms of professional Western society, Western world professional bike riding. So there is nowhere to hide when you start doing that. These I like for a couple of reasons, and there's something I'm going to go into on a different video when I do a full review of the SLC, which is the front end of this bike is what I would describe as a little bit soft, which basically means it doesn't always feel like it goes exactly where you point it, and we'll go into that another time. But what that means is, to me as a rider, is that if I'm descending and I feel like the front of my bike's soft, and then you get some real windy conditions and the front gets a little bit twitchy in the wind, as well as, you know, we're on the coast, it's quite windy, or it's very windy here today, coming down some of the descents, any control that you can take back is a good thing. And that's what these kind of gave me a little bit today, because I'm used to riding, like I said, slightly deeper, slightly more normal profile wheels, and sometimes twitchy wind / downhill, slightly soft front end of the bike doesn't always fill me with joy, and kind of makes it a little bit like, this is hard to kind of extrude as much fun as possible. I got a little bit of that back today on the Helixes. And also, you know, just to point out, when I was doing the descent, it was really windy. I could feel a little bit of twitch from the wind, but I just felt more comfortable because it felt like it was handling it better and it wasn't quite so aggressive. So that's a win for me. I also love the way they look. I mean, each to their own, right? Everyone's got their own bikes, everyone likes their own thing. I love the way that these wheels, the profile looks on this bike. Get that out of the way. I think that looks just absolutely great. Elite also do a 3-year warranty, so anything that's kind of doesn't work with the actual wheel itself is, you know, responsible by the manufacturer. There's a 3-year warranty on them. They also have a crash replacement service, which means that if you crash your bike, bin your wheels, I think you get a good price on another set. It's not like a complete replacement, you know, like for like, as in they don't just give you another set if you keep crashing them, but you get a replacement pair at a better cost. Other things to point out, I will show you the internals for the hubs. That's what I like about Elite. Again, I like their hubs, I like the way they design the internal ratchet systems. I think they are forward thinking, they are progressive with it. This hub sounds great. The wheels, I said this earlier when we're out riding with the Total Energy guys, the noise that the wheels makes as it's turning sounds good. Hubs sound great. I know that I'm sounding like I'm fanboying over these wheels. For 1,200 quid, would I consider, or $1,200, sorry, would I consider buying these wheels? Yeah, if I was putting a bike together from scratch, I'd still suggest go with the steel spoke, the Sapiens, because I don't think the carbon spokes are going to add anything to this particular setup. I think, you know, save yourself, I think it's like $300, and get the Sapien spokes, just as good, great quality, rides really well. And that was the thing, being out in Calpe, you can really kind of feel how the bike handles, how the bike or how the wheels feel on the roads out here, rather than being at the mercy of just potholes and stuff, because I don't know how you tell how a bike handles when you're entire time shaking over cobbly ground. Yeah, so I do like them. Would I buy them for $1,100, $1,200? I'd certainly consider it. I think the choice for the Wave, you know, I see a lot of people riding the Princetons, which obviously a high-end wheel, very expensive, like $3.5 grand GP, like pounds. That's a lot of money. These feel like a good quality wheel at a good price bracket. So I don't know, I'm gonna leave it up to you. I think there's a lot to be said about these that I do like. I think the big decision for me is whether I wanted to run that style on the shape of them. Nothing to do with the performance, a little bit to do with the kind of the wind, the way that it handles crosswinds. To me, that was a tick. So yeah, it'd be a toss-up, but it's a hard one. But I'm going to leave that up to you, whether you want to make it. I wasn't even planning on including tonight's ride around Windsor Great Park in the video, but I just forgot how much I like these wheels. 21mm internal, so you know, do with that what you will. I've got really comfortable riding 23s and 25s because of the cornering, because it makes the tire sit a bit wider. I usually run a 28 or a 30mm tire, so running a 28mm tire on a 25 internal makes it almost like a 30mm tire. It's ridiculous, I know, all these numbers, but yeah, 21mm internal on the Drive Helix, and I've got a 30mm tire on it. So, you know, I just love the way the ratchet sounds. The hub sounds great. They ride so well. Yeah, not the lightest, you know, they are heavier than the Aliens that I have that are 65. They're heavier than the Lund Hypers that I have, and they're exactly the same weight as the Shimals, which are a 35-30 mixed depth, whereas these are like a 68, 60 something mixed depth. So they're just so nice though, and they look good. Right, I'll see you tomorrow morning for some Regent's Park loops. So we're actually off to a clothing brand called Attacker. I think it's Australian. They're hosting some Regent's Park laps. We're not going to make a big deal about it, but we are taking the Elite Drive Helix wheels up there for it. London in the summer, well, there's about 6 days of the year that London absolutely slaps. Best place on the planet to be. We used one of those yesterday. Today is another one. It's the summer solstice tomorrow, so it gets light at about 4 AM. London does have its moments. Today is definitely one of them, which is why I've come up to town. Anyway, I'm gonna head to Regent's Park for a little roll around. It's never dramatic, Regent's Park. It's never dramatic. Just going to show you this because we're heading to Fortitude, which is, I guess, northish London. I have a feeling it's going to be very busy. There we go, all done very nicely. Regent's Park was probably a little bit busy for my liking this morning, but it is good to see just how thriving the bike industry is, or at least the community side of it. Okay, let me wrap this up for you. The Elite Drive wheels, 1,490 grams, $1,200. 20% off code down below. I don't know whether it's an affiliate code, I'm just being honest with you, but they did send me the wheels. 20% off is $240, which would make it $950. So the thing that I like about them, obviously really good sounding hubs, really good hubs, well produced. The one downside to them is like that marbling, the gloss carbon on the wheels can scuff a little bit, because I slide my bike into the boot of my car. It kind of scuffs, and I have to like polish out a few little scuffs every now and again, which isn't too much of a problem, but you have to kind of look after them a little bit, like you should do with everything. Right, that's it. That's my review of the Elite Drive Helixes. If you want a wavy wheel, definitely worth checking out. Guys, thanks for joining in. Please do like and subscribe, and I'll see you on another one soon.